Welcome to Deep Thought. The sun will always rise. Now, that's a cliche saying, but understand the way I'm saying it. Think about it as a metaphor, an analogy. Because no matter how dark it gets at night, no matter how dark, how cold it gets, the sun will always rise. And really, that's just part of nature, really. There's always going to be seasons. There's always going to be a wave. Light will always become dark, dark will always become light. Hot will become cold, cold will become hot. No matter what. Masculine and feminine. Those are two energies. You can go from an active state, which is masculine, to a passive state. And see, that applies to not just individuals, but to societies. Now, I was thinking about this because, we have a lot of negative information in the news, a lot of negative stuff. And, there's even people talking about, society will fall. Like, for example, when we talk about all these young men who are single, and you got people saying, it's over, society's going to collapse. But it won't. It'll just be a change. That's it. Because understand something, all of this has happened before. If you really look at different societies, really study the history, this isn't nothing new. It's nothing new out there. Because I was a history major. I don't say that lightly. I've been a history major. Things that happened before happen again. It goes into a wave. An elder said it's an echo. It can be an echo. For example, like the George Floyd protest a couple years ago. That was an echo of what happened in 1968. In 1968. There's always conflict, everything. And the reason why, people haven't evolved. People haven't changed. So whatever they're doing now, it was happening before. People think stuff is new. It's like, no. It's just something that's happened again. And then, if you really extend it to a macro level, there have been societies that have risen to great heights and they've fallen. And some have come back, or sometimes a new society will come in. But it means, I'm talking about that because of everything happening, people talking, people getting scared. But you know what? Things have changed. Now, an issue could be your perspective of it. Your perspective, because it might not be a good thing. Change might not be a good thing. And it's because understand something on a deeper level, good and evil, right and wrong is really a matter of perspective. If a fox goes into a hen house, it's bad for the hen and good for the fox. If the fox is prevented from going into the hen house, it's good for the hen and bad for the fox. But whatever the case, that's just nature. So it depends on the perspective if it's good or not, but understand something. There's always going to be seasons. There's always going to be seasons. And then there's always going to be darkness. But something else will always rise. That's why the sun will always rise. And, and I'm talking about that because think about everything negative we get. We're getting all this negative information, both politically, economically. Like economically, let me use that as an example. Let me throw some money matters in here. There's been a lot of talk about AI and AI taking over everything and on multiple levels, multiple levels being, people concerned about losing jobs to AI. AI is starting to take the place of fast food workers, and that's been happening for a while. You got like robots delivering food now. And people will say, well, that's bad. And yeah, people in those jobs, yeah, it is bad. But then when one thing seems like it's bad, something else is coming up. Like you hear about the AIs, but something that's not talked about enough is the artisan economy. Artisans, which means they making food by hand or whatever, furniture, whatever by hand. And people are supporting it. It's growing to be a $500 billion industry. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that might be small, but also it's growing though. It may free people up to do artisan stuff. They might say, you know what, I'm going to make soaps. That's an example. I'm finding a lot of people making soaps. All the soaps I use, I bought it from somebody. It's not a major company. Now you could say, well, yeah, the AIs, machines can make soap. Yeah, they can. Or you can make a decision to buy it from somebody who makes it by hand. See, it's just a change, because when one thing goes down, something else comes up. In fact, let me stick on the economic thing. People are talking about recession, even depression. But during every recession, somebody makes millions, no matter what. Because they look at everything, they know, okay, yeah, it's bad now, but things will get better. You know? The sun will always rise. The sun will always rise. No matter what. Something is going to come. Now, it could be years. It ain't going to say it's going, for everything happening now and all the stuff talking, people talking bad, there's good things happening too. It's just not making the news, but there's stuff coming up. New social orders will come up. You know, a change will come. And I'm going to tell you what, on a deeper level, it's actually necessary. Human beings need to evolve. And once you start seeing some stuff, you're like, you know what, maybe that old stuff need to fall to the side, because what good was it? It was chaos anyway. You need order. If for something, you know, for something to grow, it needs to be nurtured, and it can be nurtured. And in fact, let me give you even a better analogy. Have you noticed, have you ever seen like roads and everything? You know, people put a road down in the middle of a forest or something, and got concrete everything. And you would think he's holding back nature, but that would have to be maintained. If it starts to fall apart, all of a sudden you see grass growing through the cracks and everything. That's because nature, something will always rise no matter what. When something falls, something else will rise. You know, the sun will always rise. I want you to think about that. Everything going on now. And yeah, it can seem bad, and honestly, from your perspective, you might be the hen in that hen house. But then for the fox going in, man, great thing. Or the other way around. You that fox and you can't get into that hen house. But it's still good for the hen. It's just a matter of perspective and how you're going to deal with it. Like, an important thing is, if you can ride the waves, everything is all good. I'll use myself for an example. I always make money during recessions. And they always good periods for me. And I was thinking about that. It was like, you know what, because I understand these things happen. Nothing lasts forever. No matter how dark it gets, no matter how cold it gets. It could be blistery cold, it could be dark. You can't even see the stars. It could be that type of situation. The sun is always going to rise. I want y'all to really think about that. No matter what's happening now, things will get better. You know, it's the only thing is a matter of how soon or how long it'll take. And to be honest, hey, it could take years, it could take a few decades. But it will. And then even when it reaches a point of greatness and prosperity, while the sun is up, no matter how high the sun gets, no matter how clear it is, it's gonna set. But that's just nature. And you'll go through another period. It'll be cold, it'll be dark out. But then, sometimes even in the darkness, it's nice out. The stars are shining. And even when the sun is out, sometimes it's cold. But whatever the case, nature still goes along. I want y'all to sit back and think about what I'm saying. Really hear it. Let your spirit hear it. And then you'll understand. So, that's all I have for now. Y'all have a great day now. Peace and blessings.